Hey, world builders, welcome back to Build Together. This is day 234. Today's prompt is, what are the standard burial procedures in your world? Why is it done this way? And this comes from Nugget in the Discord. So I wrote about burial beliefs, which there is actually a very odd synchronicity among Attovian common beliefs surrounding the disposal of their dead. And that is the fact that almost all of them ubiquitously burn bodies, and not all for the same reasons either. In the past, most of these distinct scattered groups of different cultures had burned their bodies, and some of them were doing it for the reasons of getting rid of disease. Some were doing it for very religious reasons, like the Get of Gel, and some were doing it for other different reasons, for the purposes of furthering survival, such as the Yudi, who do this sort of primitive form of carbonization to the bodies of their deceased, so that they can turn them into charcoal, and then that charcoal can be used to increase like plant growth rates or be used in fires and other things. The only two primary groups that don't burn bodies would be the Samari, who actually leave their bodies out on the earth, just directly on top of the soil, to allow the Fakan to do with the bodies as it will, according to its will. And almost always, the following morning, the body is gone. And then you have the Ruganian, who are not the same really as any other ethnicity. They're not the same kind of creature as these other ethnic groups, and they choose their own death. And this very fact is also quite strange. And they do not burn their bodies. They have a whole other, much more complex system of dying in the first place. Now, modern Attovia has moved towards a more pragmatic reason, which is that they don't want their bodies to be the potential victims of pseudo-necromancy or the creation of a very despicable revenant. And so burning the body means that this kind of gross taboo thing will not happen to your physical form. However, the higher class groups are always looking for ways to sort of distinguish themselves and to show off their wealth and their class from the sort of lower, filthier masses. And one of the ways that they have begun to do this is the creation of the sarcophagus and the employment of sarcophagus sealers to allow someone to bury you in what is effectively one large stone block. I talked about sarcophagus sealers on a previous build together, and this is a much more expensive process than burning the body, but is now slowly and steadily becoming kind of a status symbol. If you have the status to be properly and actually buried, that's kind of a big deal. And so this is where I ended up. What are the standard burial procedures in your world? Why is it done this way? Thanks for building together.